Hi all, Cynthia here, back doing another 8.5 by 11 layout. So I'm just trimming down the white cardstock that I'm going to be using for my background. And now I'm going to go through some of the papers to see what I would like to use. So I'm just deciding whether or not I need to back this photo on some white cardstock, just to help it pop off the page a little bit, and I do just that. So I find this scrap just from the leftover from where I trimmed it down the cardstock, and I'm going to back it on that and then mount it on this marbly paper. Marbly? Yeah, I'm going to say that. Paper from the Dear Lizzy Stay Colorful collection. If you saw my previous video, I spoke about how I received these papers, and the majority of them are from the Dear Lizzy Stay Colorful collection, and I received those as a part of my, what month are we in now? June? So I'd say my June Kitaholic kit. And if I remember, I will link to that video. So as you would expect, I mean, that paper is just made to be fussy cut. So I fussy cut out a few of the butterflies. Just the way she's pointing up in the air with her finger just made me think she's pointing to something. So I thought I would put the butterflies up there. Pulled off some of these glitter stickers from which also come in the kit, and I'm just going to use the word magic. Most of them, the backing paper come off with it, so I don't need to mount it on anything, but the M peeled off lovely, so I've just put that on a little bit of greaseproof paper or baking paper, whatever it was. Deciding that I want to put a little bit of a backing on this photo, so I'm thinking about just doing two sides, doing the left hand side and the top side. So I'm just going through my papers to see what will work. And I want to bring in a little bit more of that green because there's green in those stickers. So I've come up with this paper here that has the green bit of marbling down the side, and I'm just going to trim that down to fit in nicely. Just now trimming off a little extra off my white cardstock, so I still end up with the same measurements. Go to put this down and realise that I've got my mat underneath with the measurements on it upside down, so I just swing that around so I can still make sure I've got the right length. I've still got the 8.5, and I pop that down, and then I just trim off any excess. How has everyone been? Have you all been well? Has everyone been doing a little bit of scrapping? Everyone caught up or happy with where they're at? I've generally this album, so once a year I do an album for my granddaughters, and I generally do leave that to the last minute, which is Christmas. I give it at Christmas time. But when I received this kit with all the butterflies and the unicorns, and they were so very childish or whimsical and girly, I thought, right, I'll make a start in the middle of the year. So I'll certainly do a few layouts with this collection. Pulled out the Distress Oxide ink. I think I'm trying to combine two words there. And decided I'd just do a little bit of mixed media in the background. So I put down that nice pink. I've had just a slight touch of grey because some of the butterflies have grey as their body. So I just want to put a little bit of that down. And now I do want to bring in a bit of green, but this light green here is too bright. So I tried to add a little bit of spruce to it, I think it's called. But that didn't work quite so right. So I'm just going to go again and try to get a little bit more green to grey. And it's still a little bit grey than I would have liked, but that's okay. I think it's just got the slightest tint of green to it. Just drying that off, and they're ready to go. and I just start laying down these butterflies. So I get the few that I've got fussy cut out here, and then I grab out the rest of the ephemera pack and I go through that to see what I can make work. Here we go, and generally this is what I generally do. I just grab the pack and I do a couple of different ways. One, I either take everything out that I think I might use and put it in colours or themes to one side, and then I go through and see what will go down on the page, or I just tip them all out and one at a time I pick them up and see whether I can make them work. So this is the unicorn that I tried to get on the last layout. He didn't quite make it, and he does make it on this one. He stays pretty much exactly where he is. I realise that he's facing off the page, but I just think he looks quite nice sitting there. Now I put down a couple more things here, and then my camera does die as I'm just starting to glue everything down. So I have everything in place, and then, as I say, the camera dies, so you don't actually see me gluing it all down, but you don't miss much. I do off camera, I add some sequence again and a couple of little word phrases scattered throughout, and that is it. So stay tuned to the end of the photos. At the end you'll see some close-up photos that shows those last little bit of details, but as I said, this is pretty much how it looks at the end, just a few little bits and pieces scattered through. So as always, if you're stuck with me this far, I do appreciate it. Please give me a thumbs up if you like the process video. Leave me a comment and let me know what you think about the layouts and all these unicorns and butterflies, and can you make them work? Here's some photos. Everyone have a lovely day, a lovely week, or a lovely month, and I will talk to you on the next video. Until then, bye.